Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to answer a viewer question. We got a good question from TWC6724. I have actually never bought a swim jig, he says. What weight do you recommend starting with? So great question. Thank you very much for that. So essentially, I know we're kind of beating a dead horse a little bit with the swim jig talk. Same thing with the wacky rig. It's just that time of year. I throw a swim jig and a wacky rig a lot. But we've got some swim jig choices here. These are actually both the core tackle swim jig. I also use the Z-Man snakehead swim jig a lot. There's a ton of different swim jig options on the market, and every brand's going to have maybe slightly different sizes available. But I would say, to kind of make this short, generally speaking, 1/4 ounce and 3/8 ounce are the two sizes that I'm going to lean on hard. If I'm fishing more vegetation and I'm trying to stay on top of that vegetation, like say there's a hay grass field or Kissimmee grass or something like that, where it's kind of on the surface and you're really almost working it like, or like water willow is another great example, down on the like Coosa River and stuff, throwing a swim jig over that and doing the Alabama shake, big deal. So 1/4 ounce is usually a great option for those type of situations where you're trying to keep it higher in the water column. Another time that 1/4 ounce is going to be a better option is if you're just generally fishing shallower water and you find that the fish want a slower retrieve. They don't want it burned or anything like that. Now 3/8 ounce is one of my favorite sizes because I'm an impatient person. I generally move very fast. I love power fishing and just covering a lot of water. And 3/8 ounce is one of the better sizes to be able to do that. And also, keep this bait down in the water column a little bit. We're not talking about like getting real deep, but if you are catching fish, burning it real fast and just making real quick presentations, and reeling it back to the boat, a 3/8 ounce can stay down there in that 2-foot zone a lot better. You can use different trailers that are a little bit bulky, like the Z-Man Goat. Generally will want to bring a 1/4 ounce bait to the surface, but a 3/8 ounce, it'll stay down there a little bit better. And also a 3/8 ounce is great if you're trying to fish it around floating docks. And the reason for that is that you definitely want your bait to be below the floats, otherwise the fish aren't going to see it. And a 3/8 ounce generally will get that bait down to that depth zone and maintain that, and you can keep a pretty good speed. So that's kind of my two options. Again, with my fishing, I like to keep things simple. I did not notice another angler, a viewer mentioned on, replied back to that comment that we just talked about, and he said 5/16. I think a 5/16 would be great, because that's right in between a 1/4 ounce and a 3/8 ounce. So that could be a good option too. But I generally will keep those two different sizes in my boat. 1/4 ounce and 3/8 ounce, those cover pretty much all my bases. So anyways, guys, hopefully that answers your question. Thank you very much. I think it was TWC for that question. And yeah, if anybody else has any questions at all, don't feel afraid of dropping a comment and asking a question. I'd love to do a future video on your topic. So anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for the question, and I'm going to see you guys out on the water. Make sure you trust the process.